Hey, teacher here. I don't really know how to say this other than just be as direct as I possibly can. And it's concerning the comedian George Carlin. He's deceased now. He passed away of heart failure back in 2008. There was a time when I frowned on George Carlin. I didn't like him because of a statement that he made about religion and about God more specifically, not believing that he existed. And he said some things because I, at the time, and I still am, very pro-God, if you will, for lack of a better way of putting it. In other words, I believe in the Creator. I believe in a divine personality or personage that has been responsible for everything that is. But anyway, that's not really the subject. The subject is how I saw George Carlin in the early years. And this is many years ago. In his comedy stand-up, he made a statement about God, and it rubbed me the wrong way. And ever since then, I never looked at him as a decent human being when he was doing his stand-up routine. I didn't know anything else about him outside of that one blurb that I saw in his stand-up bit. But over the years, over the past several years, thanks to the internet and YouTube, I was fortunate to see some of his political views that I really was not aware of early on. And he's a lot like me, or he was a lot like I am, in that he understands America. He understands the world in which we live. He understood that it's all a sham, that things are not what they appear to be, and that the government is really not our friend. And he has said that on so many occasions and in so many interviews, and I made myself privy to them, and I watched sort of in awe at this man that I once disliked on some level, not hated, but disliked because of a view that I had of him at one point in time. But once I began to watch his other material as it relates to government and so forth, and how he saw how the government didn't love the people, and I believe that as well. They don't care. The government, so-called government, doesn't care about the people in America. It cares about profit, money interest, and, conquering, this sort of thing. But once I began to watch George Carlin's videos and his interviews and so forth, my mind totally changed concerning him. I became a fan. Unfortunate thing that he passed, and I would say this today: if I know or have known, if I had known then what I do know now after he's passed, and if I could turn back the time, I would go to him and apologize to him. Of course, he wouldn't know me from any person that he had ever met, but I would just go to him and say, George, I saw you a certain way because of just one comedy bit that you did. I don't see you that way any longer, and I love you, and I'm sorry. So, in conclusion, George Carlin became sort of my hero, amongst many others. But I never knew that he was that knowledgeable on what was going on in the world in which we all live, as it relates to our government and the practices of our so-called government, and the things that our government carries out against its people that affect us in a not so good way. And I'm being very kind when I say that. But George Carlin died of heart failure, so they say. And this is not a conspiracy theory, but I just want to say this before I leave. It is funny to me, and I don't mean facetious, but I mean just simply odd, how anytime we have any greats, as far as profound and prolific individuals that come into our world that try to help humanity, they're short-lived. Malcolm X, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., George Carlin now, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, Dr. Sabi, Khalid Abdul Muhammad, Kevin Trudeau being imprisoned after not basically complying with the government as it relates to some claims of herbs and natural things that can heal the body. He was given a 10-year prison sentence. And the list goes on. People like this are ostracized. They lose their licenses if they're doctors or professional people. They are ridiculed to no end. They're even forced out of the country because of their beliefs. Not because there's anything wrong with their beliefs, but their belief system doesn't fit the status quo. Anytime you try to help people understand what's really going on behind the scenes, somebody comes to see about you. And they're not coming bearing gifts. They're coming to destroy you and your reputation, destroy your ability to make a living for yourself. They're trying to discredit you. I believe George Carlin was one of those individuals that they tried to do that to. And he's gone now, along with many others that I've mentioned already. So I just wanted to stick that little footnote in there, because who's to say that the government didn't have anything to do with his passing? Could be, could not be. But understand this. Anytime you have such celebrity where you are exposed to the masses or large amounts of the population, that means that your message can be disseminated that far and you can truly make an impact. Sometimes people don't want you to make that impact because it might indeed expose them. That was it, and that was all. Again, George Carlin, much respect to you, and your memories will always be with me. This is Brother Teacher, and I'm out.